Now then, people, welcome back to the second video. Hopefully you've watched yesterday's, which of course was ranking the best 5 Leeds players within the squad, who's the most integral. What we want to do now is just look at each transfer that Leeds United made this season and give it a ranking from 1 to 5. 1 being absolutely amazing, Rafinha levels, 5 being to absolutely stinking Thomas Brolin levels. That's what we're dealing with. I'd like to use someone else levels, but he might be in this list as a number 5. But yeah, we can't really use him if we're going to be speaking about him. But I think you know what I'm on about. But before we do get into it, smash a like on this video, subscribe to mine and Jer's channels. His links in the description. Get your comments in and hit the notification bell, and we'll see you on the other side.
Kane, it's 1-0. We're fucking down. 13th in the championship. The takeover happened as I said it would. People will be. Oh, when have we got Leeds?
Right, Jer, let's, well, how are you doing first and foremost, mate? I haven't seen you for 2 minutes. How have you been?
I was just thinking, what's our worst gotta be? Like, we think we know who it is, and I'm like, yeah, sounds like Spence. You know, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Looking forward to this. This is tough. These have been tough.
Yes, it will be. It will be. We'll go, I think, just try to think in the order with which they came in, but I'm on Transfermarkt, people. I will flash up on the screen now the transfers that we're going to speak about from, I think there's 10 we're going to be covering. That's Joel Piroe, Ethan Ampadu, Ilia, Gruev, Glen, Kamara, Jed Spence, Darlow, Byram, Anthony, Roberts and Rodon. Okay, you can see them on your screen now. We'll start with the first on this list, which is Joel Piroe. Joel Piroe was bought for around about 12 million, I believe it was. Good signing. He's got 11 goals currently. I think we'd probably all hoped he might have got more, but in terms of the system and that, and what he's had to come through, he's played in the 10, he's played in the 9. You know, it's been a bit all over. What are your initial thoughts on Piroe?
I thought he was going to be a signing of the season. I think that's probably where some of our...
You're thinking like Gyökeres levels, like in goal.
Yeah, I was thinking Gyökeres or Piroe. One of those two would be great. Like that would be.
Yeah.
No, that was, we signed Piroe like League One, job done. You know, I forget how young he is as well. He's only 24, which is nuts because I think he's about 27. But yeah, I think some of this stuff, I suppose, where we think Joel Piroe is this season versus where we thought he would be is our own expectations based on the fact that what he's done before. But I think the fact that he's even clocked up 11 goals at this stage still, I mean, he's contributing. He's been in a weird position because he doesn't have a real home. Like it's not like Swansea where he was the focal point of everything. Where it's now like, well, you're just another cog on the wheel. Like you've got to find your niche here, pal. And I think he's slowly coming into it. I was very impressed with him the first half against Swansea, playing as an out-and-out number 9. I thought, yeah, okay, this there could be something here, you know. And when he does get a chance in front of the goal, he can be pretty clinical. I think sometimes his touch lets him down a little bit at times. He can be a bit heavy touched, but I think further away from the goal he is, the heavier his touch tends to be. I think that's because he gets inside his own head maybe a little bit as well. But he's been fine. He's chipped away. He's added goals that we needed. He's gotten when we needed him, and he can take a penalty, which, let's be honest, not many other players in the squad can. So that's been a huge bonus for us as well. So yeah, he's been good. I'm happy. I've been happy enough with him. I think there's more to come from a 24-year-old. Just still percent love.
Forget he's 24 because he looks about 34 if you're asking me.
Touch head out of mine. Yeah, the stroke's the same. He looks like he's 31. He's like,
it's true. Do you know what I've just thought as well? Let's not use 1 to 5. Let's use A to E. You know, we're talking like grading GCSE. Do they have GCSEs in Ireland, or is it something different?
We have a leaving cert. We have far more subjects to do than you guys. We get seven subjects that you do in your leaving cert. Yeah,
do you
same
have
grade.
B and C?
Is it? Yeah, it's A1, A2, A1, A2, A1, A2. Yeah, that's the way it is. B1, B2, or B2, B3. But yeah, it's that long ago since they've been leaving cert. I can't remember, but yeah, and I've got PTSD from it as well. Wasn't great.
I got 1C, mate, and it was in French, and I can't speak a fucking word of it. So
I got an A in history, in honours level history, but I barely passed maths and I failed Irish, which is, you know, horrendous considering I'm Irish.
Indefinitely. Joel Piroe, A, B, C, D, E. Where are we thinking? See, for me, I think it's middle of the road. I think it's a C. Just because I agree with you. When he came in, look, I speak to other fans, they all wanted Piroe. Southampton fans wanted Piroe. Leicester fans wanted Piroe. It's like, whoever gets Piroe is winning the league. And yeah, 11 goals is great, but it hasn't quite hit the heights that we all probably thought it would. So for that, it's a good season, and I would say it's a C.
Yeah, I'm saying I would say C. I'm expecting a Rodrigo level finish to the season. I'm expecting what Rodrigo did in the first year in the Premier League towards the back end of it to really kind of kick in. Once this team really starts moving, which I think the momentum is there, I think he'll start buying. I think Bamford maybe getting injured now gives him a crack at the number 9. As long as Daniel Farke doesn't go back to swapping them around again, if he puts him in the 9 and sticks with him, let's have a look at him. I think he's a C, but he's a good C. I think he's probably a high C, C1, just below B. But yeah, he's been good so far. I think there's a lot more to come from him. I think he might have a very strong finish to the season for us.
Yeah, definitely. Ethan Ampadu's up next. Around about 7-8 million, I think it was, or all this.
7 million, 7 on the line.
Considering he was in yesterday's videos, the 5 most integral players, I think we can all agree he's been phenomenal. Played in 2 positions. I mean, what we going? Are we going straight at the top? Are we saying he's an A, or do we save that for other players, or what? He's straight A?
He's an A for me, yeah. He's an A. He's been brilliant. He's been Mr. Consistent all season. A.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I don't even think we need to say any much.
I was going to say, there's no big talk tracker out. You have to do like, he's an A. One of the first names on the team.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move then to a player that plays in his position, or is playing in his position right now. It's Ilia Gruev. Now, start of the season, you're thinking D's, E's. Second half of the season, you're going, it starts. So, I guess you can't really blame Farke for that, because he wasn't ever going to play him from the start, and he wasn't ever ready from the start, I would imagine. We've seen him come on in advanced roles and all this sort of. He played at Stoke, we could see he wasn't quite at it, but I mean, recently he's been phenomenal, Joe. Like, just think of that spine, and it just can't be beat. Like Gruev, Kamara, Ampadu, Rodon. It's like good luck. Try and get around that. You want
to score against Leeds, you've got to go around the outsides, and they're getting really good now as well. So that's getting harder for teams. So we're not conceding goals anymore. Yeah, I think I keep saying this. We need to slow down in how we judge signings and players. Again, I mean, Jayden Anthony gets a bit of it this year as well. But what's he doing? Willie Gnonto was the same this year until he got a run of games. These players need a run of games to get into it. I can understand actually why Farke played Gruev as a 10, now seeing his passing range. I can now go, yeah, I understand why you think there's possibly a number 10 in there. But his tackling ability is David Batty level, and his passing level is Calvin Phillips level. For me, he's the dream of the two of them now moulded together. But it is a very small sample size. We said yesterday, it's still a very small sample size. But again, what we pay for him, 5.5 million, 5 million-ish, about 2 million, something like that for him. Not a lot of money. And if you're going to do the gradings by performances and value, I think he's probably a B right now. I think by the end of the season, he could very easily be an A. But right now, I'd stick him as a B. I think he's been really, really good. I'm a big fan. I'm a big, big fan. And I hope this should be getting... Farke did say stuff when he wasn't in the team. Farke did say to us, he's excellent in training. He's quality. He's got quality. He kept saying quality. And you go, yeah, but play him then. But then you look at what was in there. You've got Ampadu and Kamara. But you can't drop either of those two. And, Farke at that stage was the point where he had to win every single game. So he can't gamble and take chances. Stoke happened. Stoke was a bad game for a lot of players. Gnonto suffered from that. Anthony suffered from that. Gruev suffered from that. They got their chance. It didn't work. They came back out and they had to wait again. But I think since he's come in, he's grabbed it with both hands. I think he's been phenomenal. You don't go through the middle of that team. You just don't get past him. If you do get past him, you'll catch it. Sophia Spexter says, you think you're getting away? I'll prove you wrong.
I will prove you wrong.
So for me, he's excellent. So, but he's a B just based on sample size right now. But I think he'll be an A by the end of the season. He's been brilliant.
Yeah,
and I think he'll also be Premier League level as well. I think because the Bulgarian, the Bulgarian Hungary. I looked at the flag and I go,
Bulgarian brew, Alexander Rusev.
This the Hungarian thing popped in my head then out of nowhere. But yeah, Bulgarian. He's international with them as well. So like he's got quality, he's got levels. So more to come from him.
100%. Yeah. So, another midfielder now, Glen Kamara, who was the cheapest of the lot. Cheaper than Gruev, cheaper than Ampadu. we spoke about him. Just missed out on our top. No, we got him in. That's my fault. That's my fault, by the way. But yeah, we got him in there, and I think now fans are starting to appreciate him as the season goes on. We are seeing a Swift, and maybe that's because we're getting a lot more stats on his numbers, and people are going, "Oh wow, yeah, okay, he is really contributing." I think the difference, and I'm not a massive fan of Harry Winks, but people rave about him. But if you look at Harry Winks' passing, it's sideways, it's backwards. Glen Kamara's is always bloody forwards. Never, you know what I mean? It's always into decent areas. I would put him in between Ampadu and Gruev, Major. So if you've got Gruev at B, you've got Ampadu at A. I'm talking like B plus, and they're B1, if you would say. I think he has to go in between them both.
I would say A. I would give him an A. And the reason I give an A is, as you said, the data on the player, the advanced passes that he does. He has this thing that I love that he does. It's this little drop of the shoulder. Ball comes in, he just does that. And the player from God, he just steps this way. But it's so nonchalant and so relaxed and so like it's nearly nothing to him. And he's no problem picking the ball up surrounded by three players and just doing a little pirouette and coming out of it and passing it. He's the connective tissue for me.
He's so big as well. Yeah, right? So to even try get the ball off him, I bet he's just like, no,
He's intimidating. He's a big guy, He's a big figure of a guy. Not afraid to recycle the ball when we're under pressure. He'll take it. He'll go. I keep again saying a lot of the same things this year, but it's repetitive. But when Leeds get into those tight pockets on the wing where we tend to get congested with a lot of players, like you got the winger, the fullback, and then you have midfielders coming over, and then you have the defensive players coming in as well. Kamara's the one that just goes in, nips the ball, turns around and passes it back out the far side and takes the pressure off. It's the connective tissue in that team. He's the middle of the spider web. Like he's the one that holds it all together for me. Like from an attacking and defensive. Also, he very rarely has to make last-ditch tackles, which means his positioning is very, very strong. He knows where the ball, he can read the game very well. And again, that's the kind of stuff that Heckingbottom got a lot of stick as a Leeds manager for saying, with ball, without ball. Yeah. Without ball, if you can't appreciate what Glen Kamara does without ball, then you need to look at football differently, because he is brilliant at scanning and reading the game and positioning himself where, as a player looks up to pass the ball through, you see Kamara. I used to say to my players and the coach, you don't have to man mark the player, but you need to be close enough to them that when someone looks up, they see you. And they see you close to the player, like not an option to go somewhere else. Job done. Before the ball ever gets near you, you've removed that option from the field of play. So Glen Kamara does that for me.
That's great. It's great to have that insight as well, mate. So next one, Jed Spence, 1 million loan fee, barely played, and some people blamed Parker, and they weren't privy to the information that we know now after the fact. So we have to give context. But yeah, what a piss poor signing, mate. When taken into consideration, I don't know if they have this in Ireland, but we have this thing called U, which is ungraded. Like you don't even get graded. It was that bad. So. I would go as far as to say it was ungraded.
You're not even getting a participation medal.
So disappointed though, because I don't want to rewrite history. When we signed him, I thought, wow, this right. When he gets in, game over for everybody, and for whatever I think it's down to him really. That's the reason, because he's gone now. He's only had a good time at Forest, failed at Borough. He's gone over to France, I think, before coming to us, didn't do well there. He's now in Italy, and guess what? He's played at left wing back, and he's also been benched recently. Sat on the bench with Caleb Ekuban, by the way, over at JUSTJOE. There's a blast from the passport.
It's just a goal difference.
Yeah. Just a really poor loan signing, and one that it'll be one of them that'll be a quiz question or who's one of the worst Leeds United loans? He's up there, isn't he, man? It's so bad.
Yeah, it's the expectation versus reality again, similar to Piroe, but that's not similar to Piroe. I was so excited about Jed Spence. And the killer for me is when we got to the end of the season, we look back at your prediction video, and I'm like, Jed Spence, can't be the player of the year. We get that win.
I've still got all that. I can't wait to get back through it. But
that's a 10-minute cameo in his debut when he came off the bench at right back, and I went, this guy's going to just knock bodies out of the way at right back. Yes, more of this, please. And I used to say this about Ian Poveda as well. The only person that's going to get in Ian Poveda's way about being a top footballer is Ian Poveda. Now, Jed Spence is prime example of this. The only person that's getting in Jed Spence way is Jed Spence. Phil Hay on the Square Ball said something like this as well. They go, some players just don't care. They don't care if they're the best player in the world. Pick up a check. How about pick up a check? They don't care if they're doing this in 10 years' time. If it doesn't last long, they'll make up the money and they'll go away. Some people, football is just not that big a deal to them. They just happen to be very good footballers and they get contracts. Jed Spence is the biggest disappointment of the season for me because I thought there was something there. I thought we were getting exciting right back. I thought it was going to fix that position. I thought Bill was going to have a really hard time on his hands keeping Jed out of the team. When he Love turns into the archer, he can't keep out of the team. He couldn't get out of the team. But yeah, Jed Spence has been the, and again the fee. So again, value versus output. £1 million for a handful of minutes, and then
just having the dream on it.
I
actually burnt it. You know?
Yeah, they pretty much ripped it up. Yeah, and the thing about this is, when he left, I didn't want to be one of these people that jumped straight onto the bad attitude, because it gets said. I mean, he said about Charlie Creswell when Farke never said attitude, he said focus. It was a very different word. People grab attitude, and that's the word. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to hear the story first before we judged him. But then the story comes out, late for training, didn't turn up at an event. The big one was, he was late for his meeting with Daniel Farke for the disciplinary for being late.
Bad.
I mean, you've no argument, pal, do you? You really have. And after that, I mean, apparently Farke went to the board and went, we're done.
Which, do you know what? Well done.
Yeah, for
backing him and everything, you know. They've clearly, and that's why I think as well it comes back to Farke of like, I'm the manager, not the coach. And I love that. So yeah, Jed Spence, absolute dud. For me, he's ungraded. For you, maybe an E. If it goes down that far.
He turned up. I will give him an E.
Yes. He never still turned up. Yeah, it turned up. L for late. We'll give him an L for late, mate. Darlow. Now again, Darlow, I think I was under the impression he was coming in as number one, especially when he turned down Bournemouth. Because he's basically come and sat on Leeds bench. I'd have preferred to go sat on Bournemouth bench. They're doing well.
Warmer.
It's down the south coast. It's nice. There's beaches. Do you think he regrets the decision?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. He could have got to know every single one of the Bournemouth fans, you know, from sitting on the bench. All of them. He could have got to know them all by name, you know, there's only a couple of them. So he could have easily got to know them very personally. Yeah. I mean, this goes back to, again, you talk about perception and stuff as well. When we were linked with him, it was £6 million was what the fee was being touted at. And everyone, and I don't remember anyone not saying this, there can be some revisionism, and we can be guilty of revisionism as well at times, but there could be some revisionism on this as well. I don't remember anybody say that was bad. Yeah, like £6 million per size goalkeeper. Yeah, great value. Grab him. Leeds paid 400,000 for him. Sorry, 400,000 euros. So it's about 300,000, 270,000 pounds they paid for him. And you're like, yeah, that's a steal. What a signing. Yeah. Now, again, the same thing is, he didn't get a full preseason with the squad. He hasn't had a run of games. He got into the team and he breaks his finger, and you're like, he can be a bit unlucky there. He's not a bad goalkeeper. I still think he's a very good backup keeper to have. I wouldn't have no issue with it. And I mean, the Salford game gets dug out because of the penalty and the open arms kind of thing, but that's just throwing yourself in a direction and hoping to save it, really. But I don't think he's a bad goalkeeper. I don't think he would have been outplaced in the team. I think he would have been fine in this team. Hasn't played a huge amount of games, but for what he cost us, not the worst signing we've made, because I still think he'll have value this season. And yeah, good backup.
Give us a grade then. A, B, C, D, E.
D. D for Darlow.
D for Darlow. Oh yeah, I'm happy to do that. Sam Byram.
Yeah.
Now, this might sound like a wild take, but the fact that it was a free, what we expected of him in terms of minutes, we said it on a previous video. He's actually played more minutes this season than the last time he played as many minutes. Was 2014 when he was last at Leeds United. So taking that into consideration, the fact he was free, we all thought he was a crock, and some will still say he is a crock. Yes, he has been injured a lot, but he's played a hell of a lot of games. So what we've got out of him, and I would imagine his wages tiny as well, due to the fact that he came in on a free and he had injuries, and it was like, Sam, we'll give you a contract, but we can't give you X, Y, Z. And he'll have accepted it, because where else was he going to go? So I would go as far as to say it's not quite A,
but I would give it a B. And that's wild to think it's same level as Gruev, but I just think value for the transfer and what he gave us over what we expected, has been phenomenal.
Yeah, that's, you have to sit down. The fee is a big part of this.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of this. And to be fair, Sam Byram has played 25 games this season for Leeds. 25. But for a guy that's coming in broken, technically speaking, Leeds have already made money on him. We sold for nearly, 3.5 million, something that we sold him for back in the day, and we got him back for nothing. So we made a profit, so we're technically plus 3 million in the bank for Sam Byram as things stand. So, yeah, we knew what was coming in. Sam Byram came into Leeds, not even on trial. He came in to train till he found the club.
Yeah.
And then if I was like, you may as well, why don't you stay here? Like, I know you know me. This is your home. Why not? And he did, and he impressed the training, and he did really, really well. And until the injury started to catch up on him towards the middle of the season, and the weather has something to do with that as well. The pitches get a bit wetter, get a bit stickier, niggles and stuff. And you've seen it with some of the other Leeds players picking up injuries this time of the year. He was excellent for us first half of the season. Excellent for us. I mean, he was our best left back, and Piroe was getting nowhere near the team with Sam Byram on left back. It just wasn't happening. The question was, could we keep him fit? And the answer was always going to be no. He's had a very bad injury history, and the man is dealing with a lot of big problems of injuries. He's had some massive injuries over his career that would have finished the career for a lot of players, and could have finished his career. When he could have walked away at the end of last season and went, "This is not going to work out anymore. I'm done." So even if he is just a utility player or an option off the bench to come in every now and then and do a job for nothing, and for the level that Sam Byram plays at when he does play, because he gives everything. He doesn't play like a player who's been injured. He doesn't avoid tackles. He goes into things. You always just worry when you see Sam Byram hit the ground that you're like, oh, that tends to be the, right, off you come, But you're still getting 50, 60 minutes out of him, minimum. So for me, for what he gives Leeds, even if he's just going to be an option off the bench for the rest of the season, come in every now and then if Piroe's out, no issue at all. He's contributed again this season. He's got assists, he's got goals. He's got one assist. Played 1,400 minutes this year for Leeds, which that's not bad for a man that's...
It's broken. We all expect it.
100%. Yeah, I thought we might get a handful of games out of him this year, and then, great. Or not at all, be on the bench for most of the season and just come on for 5-10 minutes out of the game. He did fine. Sam Byram has been great for us.
And he's played that position, Joe. He's a right back. I think so. That has to be that.
Very good left back. He's such a good left back that people think he is a left back.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So Sam Byram, I think we say B. Jayden Anthony, one that sort of came out of the blue last day, was not so much excited, but I thought, yeah, decent signing, Championship. We've got one in return for them getting Cine. Nowhere near Cine's level. Regardless of what people think of him now, he's nowhere near that level. Just hasn't played, or when he's been given his opportunity by the FA Cup, where there was a lot of emotion attached to his performance when he scored that goal. He's flattered to deceive, really, Joe. He's always going to struggle when you've got Somerville in front of you, so...
All right, it's very high.
Yeah, I mean, he's still only 23 as well, but I don't think he stays at Leeds United. That doesn't get made permanent for me, does it,
No, I don't think so, but I think he has a very good career ahead of him. I think he is a good player. Again, I think he's been unlucky, the fact that what's ahead of him, he hasn't got a run of games, because he has been a moments player this year. He has shown moments of really, really good quality that he could be a very good player for Leeds. But he hasn't shown it consistently. And again, that Stoke game was the one that really hurt him, where he got his opportunity and it just didn't work at that night. And I think he's trying to reprove himself again. The FA Cup, he was unlucky not to keep his place after that game, because I thought he was very, very good in that game. Outside of the goal, I thought he gives an awful lot. But he can be one-dimensional at times. He can be very much, give me the ball, cut inside, shoot, cut inside, shoot, without the end product that Chris Somerville gets from cutting inside and shooting. So I think he'd be a little bit one-dimensional at times from that. But I still think he's a very good player. I think, again, I still think he'll play a part this season towards the back end of it. I think he'll get opportunities, and I think he'll chalk up a couple more goals as well. Alone, again, he was filling the gap left by Cine in a position where we didn't really need many more wingers. We've loaded them. We've tons of them, And we had more at that stage because he pervaded in the team at that stage. And Joffy, actually, when he played against Plymouth out wide, was very good. So there's options out there. There's players that can play wide. Fair Buckingham plays a left winger as well if you need him to as well. So we had loads of players over there. And then he came in, just filled the squad position that we needed with Cine moving on. Agree with what you said, whether you like Cine or not. Don't. But I do rate the player. He is a fantastic footballer. And Jade is not there. You got question marks over City's fitness, and Anthony's been fit all season. So, look, he's part of the squad. He's another brick, but he's probably not a very important part of that. He's been fine. I would say C, maybe a low C.
Would you D, Darlow? Could you argue it's similar?
Yeah, you could argue D. Yeah, I'd say D actually. Probably
Yeah, should we go? I think so. Because I think what's quite interesting as well, I feel a bit sorry for Jayden, is that Sinisterra's had his move made permanent. So Jayden's thinking, I've cut Leeds, I'm not playing, I'm not going to be able to go back to Bournemouth because they've now signed him permanently. Where's my future? Do you know what I mean? So this might be... So him for himself, when he does get these opportunities, has to impress because he's going to need to find a club, I think. I think Bournemouth will be looking to sell him, so...
Yeah, but it's way... And this is the problem with... Not that's a problem. Problem's the wrong word. But this is the situation with Daniel Farke's substitute bench. Because he brings subs on so late in games, you're just not getting those chances. And again, if you look at the Swansea game as an example, the players he brought on Gail Hart, he brought on Anthony, he brought on Joseph. We are now starting to remove all the big hitters from the team when you're bringing those players in. So Cree's gone, Nonto's gone, you know. The supply chain for those players isn't there. And I used to say this with the younger players. If you want to see what Joe Gallagher's like at his best, surround him with the better players Leeds have. If you want to see Matteo Joseph at his best, surround him with the best players. Put the first team out there and then pop him in. Because then the supply is there, the quality is there, the safety net is there. And then you get to really see, at the same level, if this kid can do it or not. When you remove all those players and start putting all the B players or the bench players into that team, the supply isn't the same, the tempo's not the same, the quality isn't the same. So all of a sudden you're like, I didn't really do it. But did he really get the opportunity properly? And it's not a slight against the manager. It's just the way it is. It's just how he's had to do it this year. And I go back to the same point again of saying Farke has to win every game. Now he's in a position where we drop a couple of points at this stage from now and the end of the season, we'd probably be all right. But trying to catch up on Ipswich and trying to catch up on Leicester and trying to get away from Southampton, he couldn't risk it. And I get that and I appreciate it. It's a really tricky position for Farke to be in. So Anthony's kind of just a victim of circumstance. He just hasn't really gone. Another team, maybe he comes in, he gets 5-6 games on the bounce and he shows what he can, because he did it at the Championship before. We know he can.
Yeah.
So, but I still think he'll have moments this year, and he'll be a moments player. Very kind of like Helder Costa in our promotion season.
Yeah.
Where, didn't play every game, but when he came in, had the odd moment, scored a couple of goals.
He got goals in the early start of the first Premier League season, mate. He's got some important goals. I think he got one against Liverpool, he got one against Fulham. He was heavily involved early doors there.
Needs quite like,
yeah. You mentioned this season, like I said, I do a few other shows of Premier League and we were chatting about it, and to think that Southampton have just gone 22 games, is it? Something like that. Unbeaten, and they're in third. I told you the standard of this league. It's wild. I've had you saying, we're 22 games unbeaten. Wow, yeah, where are you in the league? Thirds. You'd be like, what?
Before we play Plymouth, right now, we are 10 points better off than we were in the promotion season with Bielsa, and we were second then as well.
Let's hope that's a good omen. Let's hope that's a good omen. We'll see. We can't rate Connor Roberts, can we? He's... Nah, we're not going to do.
No.
I know this one for you is the best till last, so we'll save the best till last. It's Mr. Joe Rodon, the Great Wall of Rodon. Yeah. Ampadu's here. Yeah, I think Ampadu's our only year. No,
not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not anymore.
He's not. Yeah. Would you,
Joe Rod?
Yeah. Would you? Is he an A+ for you, do you know, or is he just A?
He's an A+ for me.
Yeah. The man. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's. Yeah. I'm in a weird position because I really got to the point at the end of last season where I disliked the squad. There was no player, there was very few players.
I hate them centre backs. Olber, Koch, Lorente. I like
Volber. I did like Volber. No, I'd have thought, but I didn't like what happened this summer. He came back, I was staying in Leeds, I'm here, he did the whole photo shoot and all that, and then was like, actually, you know what, I'm off. Didn't like that. Now, if you're going to call yourself a warrior, if you're going to call yourself a leader, then dig in when you need to dig in, and you didn't do it. It's all hot air and no substance, you know. But I liked him as a player. I thought he was very, very good. I thought he'd be brilliant in the Championship first. I thought he'd be very good in the Premier League. I still think he's been excellent for Gladbach this year. He's been one of the most important players on their side. So he's a good player. But Joe Rodon, yeah, so the point I was making was I didn't really like the team anymore. Like, there was no player. Like, if you said, buy a shirt and stick a name on it, I was like, no. I put my nephew's name on it rather than put any player name on it. I just didn't love them anymore. And I did the start of this, I just fell out of love with him completely. And then the start of this season was very hard for me to kind of trying to switch that back on again. And I was like, I still am not emotionally invested in these players yet. And as the season's gone on, I have. But Joe Rodon's just emerged as this player where I'm like, don't fall in love with him, he's a lone player. Don't fall in love with him, he's a lone player. I love this man and I want him to stay forever.
You want babies?
I would, well, I'd mind his kids, put it that way. You know, if you needed a babysitter, I'll give you a shout. I'm happy to mind your kids, you know. He's been brilliant. I love his attitude. I love what he gives in the park. He's all about this, and I'm 100% in for that. Give me the bite. But he's a baller as well. He can play football. And as I said before, his passing percentages are in the 90% as well for a centre back to be the 9. Again, they're not sideways and they're not backwards. They're progressive passes. He has been phenomenal this season for Leeds. I would love him to get his big head on the end of a couple of corners.
Yeah, I love when he runs into midfield, Joe, as well. Like he'll, like you say, just move his body, beat the attacker, and then just move it on. And I think off the top of my head, he's the one that played the ball to Gray that then got in non-tour for the goal against Swansea the other night.
It's Kamara, and then Kamara went out. But yeah, 100%. And he forced in the midfield. He again dropped that shoulder, took off in the midfield, and he's deceptively fast, Joe Rodon.
He is.
Which is unusual because Ange Postecoglou, I love Ange Postecoglou. Again, Celtic, so I would, but I love Ange. I look at what he did at Celtic and what Brendan Rodgers is ripping apart up there at the moment, destroying what Ange built. Ange likes fast ball playing centre backs. And it's very confusing for me to see why he didn't like Joe Rodon to the point where he's bought 2 centre-backs and loaned them out and didn't put a recall clause in. And then even when it was mentioned when they the suspensions and injuries, he was like, no, don't need them. It was like, that's a very definitive line on it. But I think he might have just didn't fit with Spurs. Like he'd been out on loan and maybe didn't feel like he belonged. And just, as soon as you walk into a dressing room, I've played at clubs where I've walked into the dressing room and never felt part of the club, ever felt part of the club. And then as dressing rooms you're in, you just feel like it's home. Maybe he's got that at Leeds. Maybe having the Welsh lads around him has made it easier for him as well. But he is a leader in this team. I don't know what he's like in the dressing room, but on the park, he is 100% a leader. He's barking orders. He's talking to people. He's driving them on when they need to be driven on. He's different.
When he goes like that.
I know Coach said
he's just saying, get him. But he's not doing the Leeds salute. Yeah.
For me, he was.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm like, you like do a bit more of that, keep more of that. Because if nothing else, there was 4 minutes left in the game at that stage. Somebody tag, keep it up. Those players are important. He is, I think he's a kind of a more, someone will have a pop at me for this now. I think he's a younger, more modern version of Liam Cooper, what Liam Cooper brought to Leeds. And I don't mean as a footballer, I mean as a leader on the park and what they gave, lifting everybody else, driving the team on. I think Joe does a really, really good job. He's kind of a natural successor to Cooper in that position, but the right-hand side, not the left-hand side. But he's also filled in what Pascal Struijk was doing at the start of the season, where Struijk was the one that was coming into midfield with the ball and spraying those legs. Struijk's a beautiful passer of the ball. Struijk been out injured, and everyone's gone, yeah, I got this, I'll do it. And he's just come into his own. He's absolutely come into his own. So for me, A+ player, one of the first 2. I think you're lucky if your Meslier goes in goal because he's your goalkeeper. But after that, I think outfield players-wise, Ampadu and Joe Rodon are probably the first 2 names on that team sheet, and Chris Somerville probably in that bracket as well.
Yeah. Well, there you go. We've done, Joe. We've ranked them all. So we've got A+ Rodon, A Ampadu. I think we had Glen, Kamara B+, Gruev B, Joel Piroe C, D for we had Byram as a B as well. I think
based on value,
yeah, B for Byram. C was Piroe. D was Darlow, so was Anthony. And then L for late loan was Jed Spence. And I think that's everybody.
Didn't turn up for his grading, so.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But great video. Honestly, Jed, it's always a pleasure chatting to you, mate. I've really enjoyed that. 2 fantastic videos, which I hope people enjoy watching, and we want you to interact in the comments. Joe's channel will be in the title as well, so you'll just need to click the title and go straight on over there. Anything else to add, Joe?
I think the 2 videos that we've done and we've talked about them, and go back to your Leeds 11 if everyone's fit video. It shows you the depth of squad that we have. It showed the competition for place that's there, and it shows what really good. I said at the start of the season I was Daniel Farke skeptical more than anything else because of certain things, but I think as the team has grown on, and again, I will shout the man out there who said this. JT on your channel, I watched it tonight, said it. These players have learned Farke, and Farke has learned. It's the best kind of bracketing of what I think has happened in the second half. When I heard JT says like he's 100% on the money with that, that's bang on. It's exactly what's happened. So yeah, look, we're in a really good reign of form. Let's hope this form continues. You've said it twice on your channel as well about Daniel Farke's percentages when it comes into the second half and this part of the season to the end. If we get that, if we replicate that, if we keep our heads and keep calm, I think we've got a very exciting end of season to look forward.
Premier League, baby. We're back. Yes, we the ones. And on that note, we will leave it there. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll be back Thursday night, and we'll do a live. We'll do a Leicester preview Thursday night. I think after this, we might have an opposition preview with Locks, but I'm just waiting to hear back. I don't know. I'm talking to you from the past right now, but yeah. If not, I'll see you Thursday when I get back. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening, folks, and we shall see you later. Thank you.